But there's this really unique space in between when you're at university and living the life that you both described and how it's a little bit different now to living the life that you have now. And it's called the recruitment phase or the recruitment. Okay, both of their faces, just the eyes got real big. So this is 2 years out. Hopefully the scars or the PTSD has settled down a little bit and we can share a little bit because I think everybody's journey is different. And I think what's really cool for the students that are literally like 6 weeks away from doing that phase, what they can learn from all the different stories is that it does look really different for everybody. Hi guys, welcome to Response Able with Professor Nikki James. I mean, louder is better.
I think so.
Because then we can yell. I feel like I have a fake loud voice. Because if I actually screamed right now, I would be super loud. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 11 of the Responsible podcast. I cannot believe that I have gotten to this milestone, and thank you so much for all those that have been listening along and learning from the stories of all my guests. And thank you so much to all of my guests for giving up or investing your time and investing your willingness to share your story to support my students and other young people out there that are navigating the early stages of their career. Today is a little bit different. I decided to do something new. So previously on the podcast back in January, I had the amazing Nora Shepherd with me on the podcast. Now, Nora only graduated in 2025, and so she shared her journey of transitioning from graduation to getting her first full-time job and how that's going. And I really enjoyed doing that podcast, and it seems like everyone enjoyed listening to that podcast. So I thought it would be really fun to get two other of my students that graduated. So Dylan and Priya, who you're going to meet today, they graduated in 2024, so a year before Nora, and then immediately jumped on a plane to come with me to Cape Town, South Africa, to lead or support me in leading my social innovation and entrepreneurship program in South Africa. So we talk a little bit about that, but we mainly talk about how their transition from university to the real world is going, and beyond what's happening in their lives at work, we also talk about what it's like to transition your life from a life of a university student to a life of a young professional. And they share some amazing wisdom about that. So I'm so excited to introduce you to Dylan Zraket and Priya Murkia. Let's jump in. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How's it going?
How are you both doing?
Well,
Very well.
very happy to be in your presence.
Yay. How does it feel to be back on campus?
I had to use Google Maps to find Hayden Hall.
It's true. It was like, where's Hayden again?
It does not feel weird for me to be back on campus because my little sister's a freshman, so I come here more often than I'd like to admit.
Firstly, thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom today. She's laughing so hard right now.
Wisdom, in quotes.
Yeah. No, you guys, it was 2 years ago that you were finishing. How crazy is that?
It's crazy.
It was 2 years ago.
Thank you for having us. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad that I'm with Dylan as well. It's a fun squad.
Oh, yeah. Before you introduce yourself, guys, this is a new format. We're trialing. These are my guinea pigs right here, and they love it. They're literally my guinea pigs with everything. It's so good. But we're trialing a conversation tonight with two people, but we all know each other. The last time we were all together for an extended period of time, we were in South Africa together, leading a group of crazy students through a South African experience. And all of us almost rocked up tonight with some form of South African paraphernalia on. So, South African memories, like clothing-wise. And so, yeah. Anyhow, Priya, be great if you could just introduce yourself to everybody and also maybe share a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Yeah, totally. So my name is Priya Murchia. I come from Massachusetts. So I went to Northeastern and I graduated in 2024. I studied business administration with a concentration in social innovation and entrepreneurship.
You.
Hmm?
I have to say that because that's my
Whoop,
concentration.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then I also did minors in psychology and food systems sustainability, health, and equity. And I did not take a breath, but we did pause. So that's what I studied. It was quite a handful of things, but they were testament to, I think, me trying to figure out what path I wanted to go down, me wanting to exercise different aspects of my life that I valued, and being able to go deeper in studying those things. And now I work at a seltzer water company called Spindrift, and I do supply chain planning there. And it is close to my dream job.
That's so good. That's amazing. And I know there's a story there to get there, even though it's only been 2 years, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. But Dylan, welcome. Can you do the same? Like introduce yourself, tell us a bit about what you studied and then what you're doing now.
Absolutely. So, hi, everyone. I'm Dylan Zraket. I'm also from Massachusetts. I went to Northeastern. I got a major in economics and a minor in consulting. I know Dr. J and Priya from our trips to South Africa. I was a student on Dr. J's first endeavor leading students in South Africa.
We all came home.
We all made it
We all
home.
made it home.
And yeah, I got invited back the year afterwards to be a TA with Priya and Charlo, who does not live in Boston, so could not be here. And now I work for National Grid, which is our local utility here in Boston. I'm on the gas side there, and I work heavily in their permitting process. I'm the liaison between a lot of the construction teams in the towns, so I'm assigned a service territory, and I go back and forth between the town's DPWs and engineering departments and various people on the construction side of National Grid.
That is so exciting. I love hearing all about everything that you guys are doing now. And it's probably does it feel like forever since you were here, or does it feel like just yesterday?
A little bit of both. It's been like 2 years since I've been on campus, which is weird considering I grew up in Boston. I still live right outside of Boston. It's nice to be back. It was a good run year.
I have a little bit of separation anxiety from this campus. So as I mentioned earlier, I find myself back here quite often. I actually dined at International Village a couple weeks ago. I forced my sister to take me, and I was pleasantly not surprised, actually. It was a horrible meal.
But the nostalgia tank was full.
The nostalgia, it made up for the entire meal. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Your sister's probably like, go away.
She's like, well, leave me alone. I'm trying to be in college.
I love that so much. So speaking of little sisters and aka younger years, can you each tell me a little bit about like your pre-college version of yourself, who you were, and what made you decide to like come and study what you studied?
Yeah, I can go first. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew economics was a very broad degree. You could go a lot of different ways. I knew I probably wasn't going to be an economist, that I wasn't going to go do the master's.
There's still time.
I don't know if grad school's for me. No, I knew it was very broad, that you learn, some math skills. You learn sort of what's going on in the broader world. It's critical thinking. It's not quite as, numbers heavy, though, as a finance degree. The main reason I wanted to come to Northeastern was the NUN program, where I got to go to Germany for the first semester.
Uh-huh.
And I honestly didn't really consider I would have like classes in Boston. I was kind of just like, Europe, here we go.
Short-term thinking.
Yeah. And so, no, I came and I ended up liking the economics classes. I picked up the consulting minor. I knew a bunch of older guys that had sort of gone down a similar route. My dad was a consultant for a while, very different industry. But yeah, it was just sort of like learning as I go, figuring out what I liked, what I didn't like. I think co-ops are a big part of that. Yeah, that's just about it for me. Nothing. I didn't know big eureka moment or anything. pre-college.
No big, I want to change the world in this way.
Maybe once I got to South Africa, but up until then, I was
mission accomplished.
I don't know, I was just kind of putting one foot in front of the other and seeing what happened.
So good. Priya, what about you? Slightly different, I believe.
Yes, definitely a little different. So back when I was a child, I feel like a lot of what I felt surrounded by so many people that either were like masters in playing soccer or in painting and all these different things. Like I felt like I didn't have a niche that I was really good at. And the only thing I felt like I was good at was connecting with others. So I think like throughout my life, I've definitely leaned into that as being something that you can be passionate about. And I really advocate for that, whether people agree or not. But as a child, I wanted to be a doctor. Coming into Northeastern, I thought I was going to be a doctor. I was planning to study biomedical engineering, take the MCAT, and be a physician. And that was largely because of influence from my parents, not because they wanted me to. They tried to dissuade me from it, but I wanted to be like them. And I saw that they had direct impact on people's lives every day and that they were able to connect with people every day. 2 boxes that were very important for me to check. But then as I continued in school, I realized I did not enjoy the engineering classes I was trying out. I began in the Explore program, which I would recommend to anyone who doesn't know exactly what they want to do, which I think is most people. So it was really nice to be able to dip my toes into different buckets. And then my family has always had an emphasis on health. I have almond parents, which can have its toll on someone's psyche, of course. But back in COVID, they started learning a lot about plant-based diets and they started studying it very extensively and got certified to be lifestyle physicians. So I was very fascinated with food since I was a child, and that kind of deepened my fascination with food and how it can impact not only the health and wellness of your body, but also the earth and the way that it impacts animals, the welfare of so many different aspects of the planet. And so I became very interested in studying more about food, which was one of my other passions, like talking and eating and sweating. I was like, these are my passions. So that was really nice that I was able to find a minor like food systems and sustainability at Northeastern. And I think that has definitely tied into what I'm doing now. It's not like a total 1-to-1 ratio, but I find all of the connections. And as I will probably say again in this episode, you can only connect the dots backwards. So as things happen, they will happen, and then you can make sense of them after they happen. Don't beat yourself up trying to make sense of them while they're happening.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, wisdom all the way from the beginning. I love it.
Thanks. What can I say?
I often say when in class, you've probably heard me say this before, and perhaps you too, Dylan, as well, like when I tell my story, none of the things that I didn't make sense. It made sense. Like my first job out of college was in an outdoor education camp, and I was only there for maybe 6 months. It was insane. And it was like 2 hours away from my home. So I literally drive up Monday morning really early and then drive home on Friday night, and we lived on site.
Wow.
And then I think it was like 8 years later, I ended up in China working and setting up the charity arm of my friend's outdoor education business. But the general manager had oversold their programs. And so I ended up being an outdoor education guide for the time that I was there, in addition to trying to launch the charity and probably do a bunch of things that I shouldn't be doing as well. And I was like, oh, this makes sense that I already did this because now I can do this, But when I was doing it at the time, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to end up in China one day doing something in an outdoor education company, and I'm going to need this skill. Yeah, so that's really cool that you get that ready already, because I certainly didn't get that then. All right, so you both shared a little bit about when you're studying, and you both graduated about just coming up on 2 years now. Give us a little bit more detail on what you're doing now. I know you said what job you're doing, but what do you do day to day? What's life like 2 years out of college? How is it different?
I think the single biggest thing is when I was in college, all of my friends lived within a 5-minute walk. You don't have to make plans at this point in my life. You make plans 2 weeks out, or you hope they're free in an hour. And that's even if they're in the same city as you. Everything was just close. Like there was like 3 main locations. You're at campus, you're at your apartment, you're at like Fenway or a restaurant or something. It's much more contained socially. It's it's harder. It's people, everyone's doing their own thing, and it's very exciting to see where people go. It's sort of exciting to like be an adult, quote unquote, like sort of you have real decisions and real progress. But yes, it is very different than college. I think Northeastern, get to dip your toe in the water with like co-ops or whatever. But like I've now been at my job longer than any co-op, and I'm sort of like, oh, this is my routine. This is what I do during the week. Like weekends aren't just for hanging out. I have responsibilities. Like now I have a car, which like I guess sounds kind of silly, but
Adulting.
yeah, I'm still like microdosing adulting, but like it's yeah, no, it's real. It's good. It's good. I'm a fan. It's a natural progression. It allows you to do bigger and better things. But I, for one, it was a real wake up call. I think not like immediately after graduation, people are sort of doing stuff. But that first September, like the September 1 after graduation, that was like it was a wake up call.
Okay. And I think the friendship thing is really interesting and important. Did you work that out because you just woke up one day and realized, oh, none of my friends are around anymore, or I have to intentionally call someone if I want to hang out? Is that what happened, or what happened?
You just need to plan more. It could be something as like silly as like, hey, let's go do trivia at this bar. Or like you have to be very proactive. Like I joined a softball league. I joined a bowling league. We go to a lot more events, whether it's a concert or a baseball game, or it's good, but it's harder. It's more rewarding. It's nice to sort of have my own income and be able to utilize it how I see fit. But yeah, you kind of you wake up one day and you're like, oh, like I have friends all up and down the East Coast. I have friends in other countries.
But you also need the people that you can go out and have a drink with after work, or like do something fun and not be like isolated in the city that you call home.
Especially in the winter too. It's been so cold. It's just like, even if my friends are all in the Boston area, like I'm in Cambridge, I have people in South Boston, the financial district, and like my friends from home in Somerville. It's kind of like, even then, it's like, I mean, what's it, 20 degrees right now? I'm barely out of the house for this.
It's like friendship, be warm. And I guess as well, like people don't necessarily, when you finish college, I feel like, and this is something that I've just realized right now, when you're in college, you're kind of living with 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or maybe even 8 or 9 roommates. Yes. Like I've heard multifamily homes where groups of friends have just rented out all of them. So you go from living in those close quarters to living in smaller spaces of like studios or 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms. So like no one really has like a massive amount of space to have their mates or friends over. Priya, what about you?
Yeah, just building off of what Dylan was talking about, I agree with everything you're saying. I think like it's a double-edged sword because you have to be so intentional about the way that you spend your time. And it's kind of nice to be in college and kind of let things come to you. Like you're walking down the street on Huntington Avenue and you see like X person, Y person, and like who knows, maybe you could just end up walking down the street for the rest of the time with them and then you go and hang out with them for a couple hours. Like things can be a lot more spontaneous. And then having to have that proactivity in the way that you structure your day. And it's so interesting also, I think part of the double-edged sword is like we have an income, we make money, we get to go to work and like do something that we either like or are like good at. And then we get to use that income how we want. But then with that independence, like financial independence, there is like this, I think it's a very jarring feeling almost, like waking up and being like, I'm in a box. Like I have to go to work at 9 o'clock. I have to be there at 9 and I can't leave until 5 p.m. And it's like, that's why I think it makes such a big difference. Like I've seen such a high contrast experience where my first job, I was very unhappy. I had a couple of friends that were good company, but just generally I felt not like myself. And now I'm in a work environment where I can show up as myself every day. So I think just the sheer fact that you have to be at this place for so many days a week, 5 or more, and you don't get to structure your day exactly how you may want. Like in college, you're taking 4 or 5 classes in a semester. And other than that, you get to do what you want with your time. Like you have class from 5 to 9, boo-hoo. Like that's one day in the week. But other than that, like you can wake up in the morning and if you have class, you go to class. If you have to go to the gym, you go to the gym. If you want to just like sit in your bed, you can sit in your bed. But not having that wiggle room as an adult is definitely a transition. And I think I'm feeling better about it now. But at first, it was uncomfortable. But to answer your question, like what I do on a day-to-day basis, so in supply chain at my company, our production is on a monthly basis. So I plan the end-to-end supply chain. So the production that occurs at the facility that I manage, which is in Portland, Oregon, which is super cool. So I have to make sure that all of the juice and other ingredients that are necessary for production get there in a timely manner. And then I also manage all of the finished good inventory. So once it is produced, the network of how it's distributed around the country also falls into part of my responsibility. So it isn't a monthly cycle. And like today, I have to place my April PO and I have to plan everything that needs to be produced or created in April. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think if it were applied to a different industry or a different job, I may not like it as much.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that I'm ordering like 5,000 gallons of orange juice, like I love that. I think that's so cool. But yeah, that's
It's
a little
the
bit
food,
of a recap.
the food and the people.
Yes.
The food and the people. Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks so much for sharing. Okay, so I think just going a little bit back now. So we've heard a little bit about your all's experience first, like transitioning out into the world. But there's this really unique space in between when you're at university and living the life that you both described and how it's a little bit different now to living the life that you have now. And it's called the recruitment phase or the recruitment. Okay, both of their faces, just the eyes got real big. PTSD a little bit, but we're going to get into it. Okay, so like, what was that phase like for you guys? So this is 2 years out. Hopefully the scars or the PTSD has settled down a little bit and we can share a little bit because I think everybody's journey is different. And I think what's really cool for the students that are literally like 6 weeks away from doing that phase, what they can learn from all the different stories is that it does look really different for everybody. And so, yeah, whoever wants to kick it off, take it away.
I can start if you want me to.
I've been going first a lot. I don't know if you want.
I mean, I just talked, so I think it's your turn to talk. Unless you want.
I can rip it.
Okay, too polite.
Mine was a lot of hurry up and wait, the recruitment phase. So I walked in May of 24, but I finished classes in December of 23. And I knew I was going to be TAing in Cape Town that July. So I was kind of like, this rocks. Like I got no responsibilities. Like I was like doing like part-time gigs and stuff. I did a lot of weekend trips, traveled a bunch. And then I would just like kind of randomly crash. I'd be like, I need a job. Like everyone else is applying to a job. And so I would like throw out a bunch of applications for like a lot of stuff I probably didn't even really want. And then like I got a couple interviews, like nothing that I really wanted, nothing that really went past the first interview just because in my heart of hearts, I wasn't like really into it. So I was like, I'm going to Cape Town. Like, and from a practical standpoint, like this is like February, March, like not too many people are hiring for like a September start date.
Yeah, totally.
So that was kind of my rationale and what I told my parents. But like in all seriousness, I was like, I'm going to Cape Town. Like I'm never going to have this period of like not having as much responsibilities. I was making a little bit of money, you know, paying for my day-to-day life. And so that was a lot of hurry up and wait. And then we got back from Cape Town. And then that was my real moment. Like I get back and I was like, oh, I don't have this thing I've been looking forward to for 8 months. I was like, I moved home because I lived locally and I was like, now I really need a job. And I sort of did the same thing. I got more serious, but I was really just like scrolling like the LinkedIns and the Glassdoors. And then I sort of put that on hold. I had a surgery which knocked me out of commission for a couple of months. And then like coming to that new year. So now we're like 12 months into the process.
Mm-hmm.
That was I know I've said my real wake up call, but this is my really real wake up call. Like that January comes.
Hey, sometimes we need a few.
Yeah.
No, I'd kind of been dragging my feet. And that's when I started to utilize the other resources I had around me. I think what really helped me was instead of just doing like I was driving for Instacart and sort of jobs like that where it was on my own terms, I actually started substitute teaching for a little bit, which
I did that too.
Wow.
It was fun for the 3 months I did it. I don't think I could ever be a teacher. I think I would need a lot more patience. But like having that routine was real. Like I could apply to a lot of jobs while I was there. I would get serious. I wasn't just ChatGPTing every cover letter. I was like really tailoring stuff. And that's when I started reaching out to sort of people because I knew I wanted to be in the utilities industry. And that's when I got serious. That's when I was getting my second, like I was progressing in the interview process. First, I was really in getting interviews that I wanted. Like the other ones was kind of like, I got an interview. And I can like tell people I got an interview. Now I'm like, oh, like if I don't get this second interview, I'm going to be really upset. Like this could be something I'd be passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, by like February, about a month or two in, I had an offer that I was really excited about. And that's so good.
That's so good. So literally, how long between when you decided to take it seriously and
Couple months, but
Okay.
I'd sort of I'd gotten all of the like doom scrolling on LinkedIn out of my system.
Mhm.
I'd talked to people, and I don't know if you have questions to talk about this. I could like elaborate on this more, but I think a lot of times everyone's like leverage connections, networking, this and that. I think a lot of people just think of that as, oh, I need someone that will get me a job, that will get me an offer. I
Right.
think it's just, I mean, obviously that would be wonderful, but that's not the case for a lot of people. I think just talking to people in the industry you want. So like one of my friend's dads had been in the utility industry for his whole career. And like he wasn't just going to get me a job or whatever, but he was telling me like, hey, like you should go to the sort of these sub areas within
Mhm.
the industry. Like I would suggest starting at a company like X, Y, or Z. And like not all these roles are going to be on LinkedIn. I would go to their websites. So just knowing where to start,
Mhm.
I think it helped me target my search. If you're just searching on LinkedIn, half those jobs have probably already been filled by someone's nephew. And
Mhm.
the other ones have 150 applications by lunch. Like
Right.
it's kind of a crapshoot. And
Right. So this like the strategy, like the entry strategy,
Mhm.
I guess, sounds like what was really helpful for talking to people in the industry, even if they couldn't necessarily give you a job on the spot or anything like that.
Yeah, I also think just like any kind of referral helps. Like there's a couple people that also referred me, which first of all, there's usually referral bonuses out there. And second, you want human eyes on your resume because you can have a great
Mhm.
resume, but if it doesn't pass the AI, then you're out of luck. So it's just in incremental steps. It's applying to jobs like for me that maybe a little less applicants because they're a little bit off the beaten path. And then also if you can have anyone that works there, just hey, like look at this resume, you make your decision. Like I'm not pulling strings or whatever. Just you want human eyes on the resume because I think especially coming out of Northeastern, I like to think we have more than a lot of other undergraduates.
Yeah, totally. Wow, that's really, really helpful. And I think it's true. You made the comment of I stopped chat GTVing all my cover letters. It's interesting that when you decided to show up as human, the humanity of
Mm.
the other side, kind of there was this mutual, I don't know, it's almost synchronicity of you showing up as human and then the human side on the other side also showed up and just something started to happen. That's really cool.
I just think like give me a chance to like present myself. It's
Mm-hmm.
getting the interviews the hardest part because I think again we have our co-ops, sort of our hard skills, but like frankly, for National Grid, I think I talked more about my like experiences as a TA than like some of my other jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Just like having to like the critical thinking, the sort of thinking on the spot, how, and we all know how stuff can change very quickly. It was like an hour-long interview, and I've found myself talking about that one experience a lot more than I thought I would compared
Okay.
to like my 6 months of industry experience and then another 12 months of just other, internships.
Yeah, cool.
Just divine alignment.
What about you, miss?
Um,
Get ready, folks. This one's fun.
So like right around this time 2 years ago, I was like, all right, I knew I was going also to Cape Town, so I wanted to try to find a job that I could start in September or in the late summer. And I was absolutely married to the idea of working at the company that I had done my most recent co-op at. So I worked at Toast and I did accounting there basically, which was not within my realm of interest really, but I loved the product. I loved the company. I loved the culture. I thought it was a really good fit for me in terms of like how I would fit into a larger group, being content in that. And I also, as I've mentioned already, I have personal tie. I really love studying food. I love talking about food. I love the restaurant industry. My 5th year, I did an independent research study on fine dining. So I just love food as a universal language, and I don't think anyone can argue with that. And I absolutely love anything that's surrounding food. So I thought Toast was like this amazing company, and I still do think it's an amazing company. But I wanted to do sales there, so I went through the whole interview process. It didn't end up going favorably. I was honestly shocked because I thought I was qualified and deserved it and all of these things. But as I said, you can only connect the dots backwards. And so, yeah, I ended up not getting that. It really kind of pushed me to the ground, and I decided that I needed to give myself some time and space to just like get myself back up. And I was already looking forward to this experience of traveling and connecting with students and being the program assistant in Cape Town. So I decided for myself that I would stop until I got back from Cape Town. I didn't want to look at applications. I wanted to enjoy myself. I'd gotten a lot of advice from people that like, you have all of your entire life to work, but you don't have the rest of your life to just structure your day as you want, connect with people as you want, explore the world, things like that. So I just took a little backseat in terms of the recruitment process, and I think that is totally fine. There were definitely moments where I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh my goodness, all my best friends have jobs. And I did 5 years. So like all my friends, a lot of my friends had graduated in 4 years. So they were fully like a year into what they were doing. So that comparison was very present for me. But I did my best to consciously push that away and just remind myself that like we are all on our own paths, like as cliche as it sounds. And then, yeah, when I got back from Cape Town, I recruited, I leveraged my network. I got a job at a company that I convinced myself was part of or within my realm of interest. And I ended up just having a really poor experience in terms of the leadership that I had and the way that I felt like I could show up every day. I wasn't showing up as myself. So I'm really grateful that I was able to move to something else. And I think in that sense, it was kind of scary because in the job that I'm in now, I didn't really leverage my network. I just was looking for jobs that sounded interesting to me. And actually the role that I was in, was having crazy imposter syndrome when I applied to it. I was like, I don't have a supply chain concentration. And I studied entrepreneurship, and I have like my best skills are in my interpersonal skills. Like I should be applying to sales jobs. What am I doing? I can't crunch numbers in Excel, like all these things. But the brand and the beverage, the company, the product itself was like so drawing to me that I applied. I showed up and I was 100% myself. And I felt immediately that it was an environment where I could continue to do that. So I was really lucky to be able to move to that pretty soon after. But it was definitely really scary at first, just kind of undertaking that entire roller coaster of an experience. But I think that we have so much advice from like our parents and from our advisors and teachers and peers, I think is arguably like the most pressure that you have. So don't compare yourself too much. Like you're going to be on your own journey and you'll find something that aligns with you.
How'd you find this opening if you didn't leverage your network?
I looked on LinkedIn.
Good for you.
It was on LinkedIn, but then I knew not to apply through LinkedIn. I was like, I gotta go on the website. Which is a tip, a pro tip. Don't apply on LinkedIn. If you are really interested in a role that you're seeing open, go to their website and apply through their website.
It's super tedious. It's super frustrating, but
it pays off. You see human
eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Human eyes.
They probably have like other prompts and stuff too, which, but I guess good way to weed out candidates.
I feel like, yeah, I like LinkedIn jobs. I think it's a really good amplification, and it tries to make the process so simple that doesn't necessarily work. It like the easy apply, it's so tempting to just sit there and apply with like a standard cover letter and your LinkedIn profile, and that's it. And people might go, well, I've applied for 100 jobs every day for a week. And it's like, but do you even remember what you applied for?
That was like when I first started, like especially on Fridays, I would just rip a bunch of like easy apply sales jobs. And I was like, hey, if these aren't like pyramid schemes, I wouldn't even want to work there regardless. And I would feel so good about like patting myself on the back. Like, wow, I'm applying for jobs. Like, no, these are
the recruitment dopamine hit. We've found it. LinkedIn easy apply. Oh my gosh, LinkedIn's gonna hate me for saying that.
It's so dumbed down though. Like the oversimplification just makes it like not even.
I also
real.
find that a lot of the job descriptions are just like not accurate to what you're not accurate in terms of what you do day to day, but they fluff it up a little bit. Like I read my job description, I'm like, oh, that makes me sound real smart. Like, and I mean, like, I'm not saying like I'm not doing rocket science. And so, like, but also, like, don't be intimidated. Like, don't be applying for, like, mid-management, like, fresh out of undergrad. But, like, if it says 2 to 3 years, like, I don't know, throw an application.
Yeah, throw it in.
I've actually said that a bit. I'm not sure if I've said it on the podcast before, but I definitely have said, like, as Northeastern students, you're coming out already with 1 year of experience, but in 2 different companies. So that kind of at least means 1.5 years in terms of what everybody else might have experienced. So I think one of the things that I've been talking about to the students in class is I'm expecting them a lot more from them now, because I'm like, I want you to be able to go out and not apply for the entry-level job, but to apply for the 2-year experience job, because they're the jobs that are not necessarily going away as fast as the entry-level jobs. So yeah, that's super cool and super encouraging for everybody to hear that you guys are vouching for my craziness also.
Yeah, that's a really great way to approach, like, kind of just framing it for the students, especially because they're positioned so favorably at a university where it's like literally a requirement to work like that. So
yeah,
I couldn't agree more with your tactic.
It's good. We'll see how we go. The data's not in yet. Not that I'm collecting any, but anecdotally maybe. But yeah. All right. So you guys are in your jobs now. Life is kind of, settling. You've got your structure and your gym visits, and you're working out and hanging out with friends and playing softball and all the life things. So how do you see where you are now? Not to go, what are you doing next? Because hopefully you're just enjoying and embracing the season you're in right now. But how do you see what you're doing right now and roots that you're putting down for where you want to be maybe in the next 5-10 years?
Oh, it's a loaded question.
It is, but feel free to share or be like, pass.
No, I would love to share. I think for me, it's really important to just feel like I'm exercising like my curiosity. If I can continue being curious in an environment, it will feel like a fulfilling experience for me. So like I started my current job five-ish months ago. So I mean, that is, I'm learning still every single day. I'm learning so much every day. And then I think if I get to a point where I think I could do my job with my eyes closed, I have enough like love for the company that I'm at or the product that I work with to want to try something else there in a different sector. But really like one of my dreams, and I think is one of my passions as well, like going back to that learning, is I think hopefully returning to a classroom environment someday. I think like the lifelong learning, like maybe I'm idealizing it and you can tell me best, but I really think like being in a classroom and seeing groups of students that flow through in and out every semester, like there's no better way to keep your mind engaged and like to keep yourself curious. And yeah, I mean, that's like one of my largest life pillars. So someday I hope I can be an instructor of some sort. I would love to be a professor. And actually, before I got this job, I was saying like when I took my supply chain introductory class at Northeastern, there was this concept that was introduced to me about like cyclical supply chains. So like traditionally they are structured linear and like the inputs flow in and then they're the outputs and then they're waste. But if you structure it in kind of a circle, then you can inherently have sustainability built into the way that a supply chain works. So I was always super fascinated by that. And all honesty, I don't know that much more about it besides what I just said. But I would tell people like, I want to be a supply chain professor in cyclical supply chains. And my parents were like, what do you mean? Do you know the next thing about that? And so it's kind of crazy that like after all of like me saying that when I was super unhappy in my last job, that I ended up getting a job in supply chain. So that's actually like a potential dot that could connect me to this next step if that's what I really want to do. But I feel happy where I am right now. I feel like I'm exercising my little muscle in my head. So I'm having a good time.
I'm sure that your company is excited about your passion, and I'm sure you bring ideas to the table on how to add some of that cyclical approach to what you're doing day to day.
Yeah.
So we'll see some changes in the external environment, hopefully over time as you're learning. And then who knows, maybe you'll be able to pass that along as a professor. I totally love this job. And everything you said about students coming in and out and getting to inspire them and encourage them and everything is is what I love. But I think the reason I'm personally able to be so valuable is because I did a lot in the world first. I did graduate university at 20. So I started as a professor very young, but I also started my career very young.
Mhm.
And so I had a lot of experience, and I also stacked a lot of experiences together. So I was doing multiple things at the same time and things like that. And so I think that, yeah, definitely go out into the world and make your mark and make the best cyclical supply chain that you can in a company that allows you to do that, but then come and pass that information on. And it definitely is a great way to stay curious, because if you have a whole bunch of people that are asking you questions all the time, you have to stay curious about yourself and about the world as well. And just, I mean, who knows where AI is going to be at that stage when you're coming back in this place or another like it. But it definitely keeps me on my toes to kind of have an understanding of the capability of AI so that I can make sure the integrity of what I'm doing is all set, but also understanding the use of AI and where it's going in industry so that I can give the students the comfort with the tools so that they can go out and not be freaked out by it. Like, I'm not going to be able to teach them like what you guys use AI for day to day, but at least if they're like, they know how to do the basic things, or they know how to not be like, wah, and be uncomfortable with it or scared of it or whatever. So that's my goal. Dylan.
That's tough to follow. No, you're answering.
You got this.
I was thinking.
Hey, and Dylan, we have to acknowledge as well before you start, so don't feel like it's tough to follow, but you guys both live life very differently, right? So you've always gone with the flow and gone with what's in front of you, and you've done that approach. Priya's been a little bit more planned, but it all works out for both of you. So I think you bring a really important perspective of those that are like more follow your nose, follow your intuition, follow what doors are open to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was going to go more the professional route. I've been at my job almost a year. I'm still getting my legs under me there, sort of thinking about where I want to go. I like my role a lot. I think from starting, there's a lot of people on my team that are coming at it from other parts of the company or other careers, and they might just want to stay there. I think for where I'm at, it's my first job. I want to continue to grow. I think how many years that is in this role, that remains to be seen. I think working on the gas side it's interesting. There's a lot going on that we don't think of. It's not going anywhere despite our best efforts with climate change. It's just so ingrained in our lives. It's a recession-proof job. It's not Facebook in the mid-2000s. So I'm not going to wake up as a multimillionaire. It's not going to blow up overnight, but no, it's very safe. And I think it's very interesting just learning what goes on in the day-to-day. There's a lot of different ways that can go. I think also the electric side is very fascinating. That's my last co-op was at a small consulting firm, Scott Madden. And mostly what they do is like the rate cases for utilities, which, whenever they want to raise rates, they help them prepare them to go to the state, say, hey, we want to raise X% because of, Y and Z forecasts. And so I was looking at more the electric stuff and electric vehicle adoption. And I think that side has a lot more possibilities, a lot more space to grow sort of exponentially. Like I was looking at a lot of electric vehicle rate designs. As you guys were talking about AI, as we all know, takes just an immense amount of power. Like the overhaul of the grid that's going to need to take place in our country as well as all around the world is immense, and there's not an easy solution. I think, this would be 5, 10, 20 years into my career. I don't have anywhere near the requisite knowledge to have those answers. But no, I think there's a lot of different ways for me to grow in my career. I was saying one of the people I networked with before I started my job, he said, if you want to get into the utilities industry, you should go to one of the regulatory commissions like FERC or the DOE and an alphabet soup of agencies or whatever, both like state and federal. Or he said, go work in a local utility, work at National Grid or Eversource or like Con Ed in New York City. Yeah, so my goal is just to learn as much as I can. I think it's important not to get complacent. And like for me right now, it is not our busy season. I think it's easy to sort of get complacent day to day. And at this point in my career, I want to keep learning. What was the phrase?
A lifelong learner.
Lifelong learner.
Hell yeah.
Because that's what you can do to separate yourself going forward. Yeah, idea of managing a team, like not just doing the actual work, the hard skills, but I think managing a team is something I would like to do. I like to think I'd be good at it. We'll have to see. But I sort of think that sort of personal aspect
Well,
of
you
it.
managed a team of students in Cape Town and you brought them all back alive. So I
So
think you'd
true.
be good at
Yeah,
it.
they made it real difficult to do that. But
I would love for you to be my manager, Dylan.
we'll see. I think I'd have to get a little tougher, but no.
I think you would. I've learned the best way to manage people is to learn how to pick well. Because if you pick great people, you spend most of your time like encouraging them and trying to get roadblocks out of their way. You're not being a stick, trying to kick them up the butt.
Exactly. No, you have to want it. And I think that was something I'm very thankful for in my third co-op, is that I was able to find something I wanted to do. Whereas my first two co-ops were fine. My first one was like a typical first co-op at some wealth management firm. It was also COVID time, so there were few and far between. Like, I absolutely love my boss. Like, I would use her as a reference. Oh my gosh, 5 years later. It was good. I was just like, this isn't for me. I did a life insurance co-op, and I was like, this really isn't for me. And then I was like, consulting, Scott Madden, it looks kind of cool. And like a couple months in, I was at some like family event, and like, I don't know, like a family friend or like an auntie or someone's like, do you like what you're doing? I was like, wait, yeah, like this is rocks. Like, I like to go, I actually like to log in every morning and research this and that. And no, so I kind of, as we said before, just happened into what I like to do. It's sort of the first time I could tell people like, oh, I want to do this specific thing instead of just some amorphous answer that, answers the question, makes me look good.
Yeah.
But
I think something that you could teach me, Dylan, is like, don't be afraid to stumble. Like, you could stumble into so many things that are great. You don't always have to have like a clear, direct path to where you're going.
Just say yes.
Let
to
yourself
things,
stumble.
I think.
Yeah.
Just say yes, like to any opportunities. Like, when the first time I went to South Africa as a student, there was like an older dude in my fraternity that had done it like years ago, and he was like, "Yeah, that was sick." And I was like, "All right, I'll apply. Seems cool." Like, I'd never taken a class with you. I didn't know anyone else that was applying. It turns out one of my buddies I'd also applied, and we sort of went from being friends of like, that was my friend of a friend, to just like my buddy now. And no, I think saying yes to things, putting yourself out there, being proactive, whether it's a friendship or a job or whatever, just knowing what other opportunities are out. Not that you should be jumping ship every 6 months, like professionally, but I think just always knowing what's out there. And you never know, because if you told me 5 years ago utilities, I would that would have sounded just as boring as life insurance to me, frankly. But now I'm like super into it.
So good. So much wisdom.
Oh, I try.
So much wisdom in those words. And yay for South Africa. South Africa does some really cool stuff. All right. Rewind back to that process of recruitment that all of our students are about to go through again, or are probably starting to do already. I have some very stressed seniors in my classes right now. What would you tell your past self who was just about to start the recruitment journey again?
I'm trying to think of something that isn't a cliche. But
yeah,
like,
I mean, I also...
Hey, you can start with the cliches, then we'll see where we go.
And like, as Priya was saying, like, you can't compare and contrast. There's some lucky ducks out there that, got a return offer from their co-op with a month left in their co-op. So that you can't compare. Some people know some people have known what they want to do since 7th grade, and that's still their dream. Some people are getting into grad school, and also the cliches just to keep rolling. You
just
can't
let
believe
them fly.
everything you see on LinkedIn.
Don't edit out the cliches.
It's like very easy to get dejected.
Yeah.
And people that are like, I'm so excited to join whatever company, they're not.
And oh my
and that's
God.
okay, but it's like
LinkedIn culture at Northeastern,
LinkedIn
needs to be
University.
studied. These kids, obviously, it's a requirement for them in class to make a LinkedIn when they're freshmen. And it's every co-op cycle. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm so behind. This person has a co-op already and I don't have it. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
I also, one more thing to back to like my personal experience is my first day of work was April of last year, which was almost 2 years after graduation. It's really easy to like while you're recruiting, look at other people. And you don't want to be unemployed your whole life. Enjoy it a little bit. Not too much. You can't get dejected. It is a cycle. It's however many people apply. You have to be better than 50 other people. That's really hard. It's really hard to get it. And also, I think I'm still almost going through, not as much from a recruitment aspect, but I've been at my job 11 months. I have friends that have been there 12, 24, 36 months. There's people getting promotions. Those come with pay raises. And it's very easy just to be like, wow, I'm behind. But I that's where I really got into trouble. I think be like everyone else. I was one of the last, if not the last person to get a job, a full-time job. And it was tough in the moment, and it'll happen. I know I've said all the cliches, and I'm sure parents and other role models and mentors are saying, but it will happen. You just got to hunker down. You got to do the little things, send the thank you emails. You'd be surprised how much stuff that's been ingrained in our brain since we started in Boston is not common practice for other people.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
I think the thank you emails, just basic interview etiquette, stuff we all take for granted, having been in this bubble, there's some knuckleheads out there.
I'm going to end your fabulous advice with a final cliche just to make you happy.
Thank you.
Ready?
No.
You got to run your own race.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bam, mic drop.
Run
nothing else to say.
And may I just say, be kind to yourself. That's what I would tell myself. I think I'm hard on myself, behind closed doors, and I come off as very energetic and excited. But if I'm really down about something, then when I'm with just myself, I feel very down about it. And there is so much power in the way that you speak to yourself. And I know the TikTok wellness community says it all the time, but it truly has impact, and it goes far beyond and before the TikTok wellness community. Really looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself, I'm confident, I'm capable, I'm brave, I'm smart, all of these different things. If you tell yourself those things, and which you are, everyone is in their own ways. If you tell yourself those things, then you will be able to present yourself as that. So that if I could go back, I would definitely do a little bit more of that rather than feeling poorly about myself. It's really important having that worth.
Yeah, that's so good and so valuable. And I think, interestingly enough, a lot of the people that I interview that are kind of 20 years on in their career, when we ask that similar question, what would you go back and tell your 20-year-old self when you're going through that? And it's for me, it was, I wish I saw myself how other people saw me in that season. As someone that was going out there and being fearless and trying things and applying for 100 jobs and all of that stuff. Whereas you're just oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The internal dialogue is so different to how everyone sees you. So yeah,
absolutely.
So true.
I think I have one non-cliche advice that I've
heard. Bring it on.
Don't go to grad school just because you can't find a job. Only, I know some people that have gotten real close, and I don't go to grad school if you've found a passion, a niche, whatever, if it'll benefit you.
But don't do it to delay the workforce.
Correct. I mean, that thought crossed my mind a few times, and it's a very big commitment. Don't do that just to say you're doing something.
Yeah. Is there anything about this season of, transitioning from university to work that we haven't talked about that we should?
I would emphasize enjoy it. Though, surface level, there's nothing to enjoy about the fact that you need to get a job and that you're in this transitory period, this period of uncomfortable liminality. But there's also a lot of exploration that goes on during it. You learn a lot about yourself. You can connect with really cool people that you may not work with directly, but you'll have as part of your tool belt of connections. So yeah, just spread your arms and give everyone big hugs and yourself.
I don't know if I can follow that up.
Dylan's I'm not hugging everyone. Come on.
No, Dylan's a hugger. He's good. He's a hugger. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you to both of you
Thank you.
for
Thank you for having us on,
sharing
Dr. J.
so openly and transparently and authentically about your journey. I'm so excited where both of you end up. Dylan, I have no doubt that you will be leading teams before you know it,
I hope so.
and probably before you're ready, because you have that capability. You know, I saw it in you when I asked you to be a PA. My PAs saw it in you while you were still a student on the program. And they were the ones that were like, I always ask, as you know now, being a PA yourself, who are the proteges? And you were the only one they said.
I like that. I'm not gonna lie.
And that was why whenever we needed an extra Uber, they would get you to do it. And because they saw you as trustworthy even then, and that was like 4 years ago or 3 years ago at this point.
Oh my gosh.
So you already have a lot of those skills. And so once you have the technical skills and experience, I think you'll make a really good leader and team leader and manager of people.
That's very
And
nice to hear. Thank you.
Priya, thank you as always. You never say no when I ask you to come in and inspire students in whatever format it requires. And I can't wait to see where it goes. And I can't wait to see you doing what I do 1 year. I'm going to pass the baton to you. I can feel it.
Thank you. I hope so.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. I
Thank
hope I
you.
can be as cool of a professor as Dr. J someday.
You will be cooler. You'll probably be AI augmented by that point.
To be a hologram.
Oh my gosh. You could be a hologram and teaching to the whole world. That would be epic.
Creepy.
Aren't Dylan and Priya amazing? Guys, thank you once again for being so open and authentic with sharing your journey and the transition that you've gone through from leaving university and becoming a young professional and having to navigate not only career decisions, but just life and how life looks differently as a young professional compared to being a university student. And oh my gosh, friends are so important. So if you are about to go through this transition, or if you are in that transition right now and you're feeling a little bit disconnected, you are not alone. But make sure you take Dylan's lesson and actually proactively reach out to connect with your friends. That is it from us this week. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you next week.